Hello guys, and this is a little update on the carbon fiber scooter from FLJ. Today I crossed the 600 kilometer mark. Let me show you. I'm going to grab the camera and show to you what I have on my screen now. So this is the screen, and you can see I just crossed 600 kilometers today. So I got the scooter now for about 6 months, and I'm really satisfied with what I have here because it really works very, very well. But I need to give you a couple of things that I noticed, a couple of things that I've done, maintenance that I've done on the scooter. And one of the things that I had to do a couple of times, and I'll need your help if you are a viewer, please let me know about the issue that I currently have. It's not created by the scooter, it's created by myself. What happened a couple of times is that the pole here becomes a little bit loose. I think just by the vibrations here, the tightening bolts inside the carbon here, inside the pole here, loosen over time. So what you have to do in this case is to unscrew these 4 bolts here, and when you have your screwdriver that comes with the scooter that fits on these, when you've taken this piece of plastic off, you'll find 4 other screws inside that you can only screw with the smaller or the smallest screwdriver that comes with the scooter. And you just have to tighten these bolts so everything is tightened up again. After 3 times I was a little bit getting tired of tightening these bolts here inside, so I decided just to put a little bit of Loctite super glue inside the threads here. But unfortunately I found out just before yesterday that I'm unable to unscrew 3 of these screws here anymore. So I'm gonna try to use some nail polish remover on it, but I'm a little bit afraid that the nail polish remover is gonna also attack the carbon fiber itself, so I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with that. Another solution would be to just, take off the plastic, probably break it, and try to unscrew these, but I don't know how the screws are tightened inside because of the Loctite. Now I don't need to unscrew these at the moment because I haven't got any issues with the scooter yet. You never know when the law of Murphy happens, probably when there's something going to go wrong, I need to unscrew it. So I'm going to also contact FLJ and see if they can offer me and send me this piece of plastic with 4 screws and the inner tightening bolt that is inside. See if they can offer me, and I will keep you updated about the fact that they can give these spare parts. So if you feel like it's getting, loosening and it starts to wiggle, you just have to unscrew these 4 screws and screw or tighten the ones inside. But even if you screw it very hard, just with the vibrations over time, it starts to loosen. Another thing that I noticed at the 500 kilometer mark is that the shock absorption system here sometimes got stuck on the left hand side. So to solve the issue here, I just had to unscrew these 5 screws on this plastic here and the 5 screws on the other side, and I just put a little bit of grease, a little bit of grease on the section where actually the suspension is working and where it got stuck, and the problem is solved as well, so no problem. So 600 kilometers, very happy with it. My main goal is to reach at least 4,000 kilometers with this particular scooter. I just call the 4,000 kilometer mark as a break even. Or I would say that if you have 4,000 kilometers driven with this scooter at a price of 400 euro, it means that it will cost you about 10 euro cent per kilometer, which is basically the same price that would cost a car per kilometer. If you buy a car and you buy it for about, let's say, 20,000 euros, you are supposed to drive about 200,000 kilometers with it. So the main cost for the car would be about 10 euro cent per kilometer. Now this is de facto, of course, if you have not had any issues, if you didn't have to do any repairs. Now still, even when I get 4,000 kilometers, the scooter is going to be much cheaper, I would say much cheaper, because first of all, the maintenance cost of these particular devices are much lower than just a simple car. But also it uses much less energy. The efficiency and the energy cost for the scooter is going to be much lower. Let me just tell you something what I've done. I've driven the scooter until it was completely flat, which is actually not very good because it's not good for the batteries. But I just wanted to plug the charger in and put my electricity cost meter on the charger and check out what is the actual price to charge up this scooter when the batteries are completely flat. And the price that I have calculated is about 1.5 euro cent for a full charge to about 2 euro cent, depending if you charge the scooter over daytime, because we have different prices for daytime and nighttime. So when it's daytime, it costs me about 2 euro cent for 20 kilometer of distance. So that means it costs me about 1 euro cent for 10 kilometers, meaning it costs me about 10 euro cent per 100 kilometers. So if I would have 4,000 kilometers, it would cost me about 40 euro, so 40 euro. That's not too bad. Now you try to find a combustion engine that will give you a mileage of 4,000 kilometers for only 40 euro. I don't think there's something out there. So this is very, very economical. I've been learning quite a lot also about the batteries inside because it's very interesting subject, and I'm talking about the efficiency of these cells that are inside the battery of these scooters here, whether it's an e-bike, whether it's these scooters, or whether it's a Tesla car. Now, I know Tesla they have been using the 18650 batteries that are inside of these guys over here, but currently they have modified the 18650 batteries and they have upgraded or updated the batteries. And if I'm not wrong, I think they use now 2710 batteries, they call it, which have a capacity of more or less about 5,750 to 6,000 milliamps per hour, which is enormous. But these in here, as I told in my previous videos, they have about 2,400 milliamps per, 2,600 or 2,400? Yeah, 2,600 milliamps per hour, I think they are. So, very cheap. And normally, before these batteries start to die off, you should be able to charge them up about 500 times. Now, in my calculation, I just take a margin and I would guess I would be able to charge them up about 300 times. 300 times 20 kilometers equals 6,000 kilometers. So every mileage that is about 4,000 kilometers is just an extra that you get from the scooter. So 600 kilometers, about 6 months time. I might just, drive it a little bit more. We have been very lucky with the weather this year, so I would say that if nothing happens, if the scooter stays intact the way it is, I should be able to drive this fella here about 3 to 4 years. So that's absolutely not too bad. Okay, I want to touch word and base with you also about the group buy. I've got a little bit of a response on the group buy on the YouTube video I've made about the group buy. I will upload a new video very soon about the scooter I'm talking about. It's a scooter with a front wheel motor and a back wheel motor, and it's driving, or it's using not the regular 24 volts nominal value, volts value for these, but it's going to use about 36 volts. I'll send you the pictures, I'll make a new video, and I just want to know more about what you think, guys. Worst case scenario, maybe I'm not doing the group buy and I'll wait until January, because I would like to visit the factory. I just want to be very, 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 very sure that I get these scooters from the manufacturer and not from some kind of a dealer, because I want to get the best price, but also I want to get education about how to repair them, how to service them. So at least when I start to import these scooters for a group buy, or eventually if I want to launch this business, I want to know exactly everything about these scooters. I want to be able to, dismantle it and reconstruct it from scratch, because I want to be able to find out any issues and solve any issues in case there is any issues with these scooters. So that's the little video of today. I will probably focus this YouTube channel more and more on these scooters as well. If I start to buy these scooters from China, I would probably not only focus on these kind of portable scooters, but I might also go into these, boosted board like Casey Neistat is using, but the cheaper ones, because these boosted boards, they're extremely expensive. So I could focus on these as well. I'm pretty sure that they can make them much cheaper back in China. And maybe on other kind of means of transportation that are driven with electricity, whether it's an e-bike or small motorbikes or whatever. I just want to try to get more and more information, because the more I learn about these batteries, the more that I'm convinced that it's technology that we should, try to push forward. I've always been a little bit, skeptic about these kind of engines and scooters. I was very worried about the mileage you can get before these batteries they start to wear out. But the mileage that they get, for example, from the Tesla cars, before these batteries start to die, we're talking about 300,000 kilometers, 400,000 kilometers of mileage, which is probably what you get out of a combustion car. So it's not too bad. So I thought that even with these Tesla cars and these electricity-driven cars, you would need to change these batteries like after a year or two. But apparently, the recharging cycles have been actually increased quite a lot, and the mileage you get from a single charge have been increased quite a lot. So you actually are overtaking the mileage that you get from a combustion car. And I think it's a little bit the same with these scooters. Now imagine I can get about 6,000 kilometers out of this scooter, would be wonderful, or 8,000 kilometers would be wonderful. Now maybe I will never reach that these figures, because maybe I'm going to play around with other scooters, but for me it's very important for you as a viewer to know how reliant these scooters are, how good they are, and if I bump into problems, how can you solve them. I had one subscriber who complained about an issue that he had after about 3 or 4 charges, that it wouldn't power up anymore. But the technology actually is very simple. Probably it's going to be a cable that has loosened inside, and apparently the user was more willing to spend money to ship the scooter back over to China instead of just opening it up. And it's not that difficult technology. So it's just a couple of wires together, connected together to a controller, a BMS, etc., etc. Okay, if you have any questions about the scooter, if you want me to make any more videos, let me know. Maybe when I get about 800 kilometers, I will make another update, or 900 or 1000. I just check how many people are looking at my videos. Please share my video, subscribe, give some thumbs up so I get a little bit higher in the ranking of YouTube. And keep tuned on my channel, because if there is any group buy, it could be very interesting for all of us, because we can get the best prices. So for me, it's also a learning curve. Thanks for watching, and I would say happy driving.